Let's break this down with QPEGO CEO, Gaston Pereira, in studio with us. I hope I'm saying this correctly this
Perfect.
time. All right,
Perfect.
I've worked on the pronunciation. Good to have you with us.
Nice being with you.
Gaston, let's talk about the latest threat from the president, more tariffs on Chinese goods. Do you see him doing that? And how did the Chinese retaliate to that then?
Look, I think that the president has shown that if you come and sit at the table, you can get a deal with the United States. I think it's important. Despite the fact that the foreign minister of Canada is going back to Canada today without having completed her mission, I think that this is a message for the Chinese. Look, we're talking about a 70 billion gap between Mexico and the United States, and you're talking about a 350 billion gap with China, so that is a priority. So let's see if this threat sort of brings the Chinese to sit down and make a deal.
Well, we saw Mexico make a deal. You were very optimistic that that would happen. You were in fact correct. How are your prospects on Canada? You think that's going to happen?
Look, I think so. Canada has different issues. I think it was very smart that the negotiations started with Mexico because the issues were more workable. The automobile sector, which Mexico gave a little bit of room, and I think the United States did very good on that, and actually helped Canada on the automobile sector that is important for Canada. But Canada has other things that were not on the table. For example, the dairy issue. There is
and that's a big sticking point still.
Yes, and you have Chapter 19, which is dispute resolution.
Right, and because the president wants to change that. Just to clarify, Justin Trudeau wants to keep the resolution mechanism as is.
And then you have the cultural element that you know, all the media industry is protected in Canada. I would think that that is the lesser of all the two other problems. So I think that you have dairy. Dairy is a big issue for the United States and for Mr. Trump's, you know, base.
Yeah.
But Canada, is the same as Mexico, had a lot to lose by not going to the agreement. And I think not getting the agreement has issues also in the process of this fast track. The fast track is supposed to go to Congress. Congress believes it's a trilateral agreement. All of a sudden, it's going to be a bilateral agreement. No, wait, you know, you're going to have to start that from scratch, right?
Well, to that point, that is why it is in the Trump administration's interest to make sure that it is a trilateral agreement in order to not get held up by Congress, because safe to say that Democrats in Congress would obstruct anything that requires more than 51 votes for congressional approval.
They would, yes, if it is not the NAFTA 2.0, which I think NAFTA 2.0 is a healthy, really outcome for the three countries, really. I think it's something that I think will happen. Let's see what happens next week. The clock is ticking, and by the end of the month is sort of the drop-dead date that the agreement has to sort of be in shape, so that he can show Congress the elements of the agreement.
Gaston, for all of this talk about trade tensions impacting investor sentiment and the economy, we saw today that businesses haven't paid too much heed to it in terms of employment. Businesses are continuing to hire. Wages are increasing. That was August. How long do you think this confidence can continue? At what point does it start to weigh in on the economy?
Well, obviously, we have a momentum, you know, and this momentum started when? In 2015, 16, 17, 18. We've seen sort of a similar trend in job growth. And so I haven't seen, you know, I'm not an economist today. I study that, but I don't see really fundamental issues that can affect what's going on right now. I think there is confidence. And I think once you have confidence, consumers shop. And I think that makes a deal. You have the tax cut that really provided a lot of liquidity to the market. So that's good. So I think that all the conditions, at least let's have another meeting in a couple of months and see what's going on with China, for example. I think that's important, and with this closure with Canada.
All right, great chat as always, and great camel tie, Gaston. Love that tie, appreciate it. I love camels. Thanks so much for being with us. That's it for Clear Cut.